I want to talk now. We got to talk about the Browns. And I don't want to talk about anybody else or any other unit. I'm just going to talk about Deshaun Watson. In fact, before I talk about Deshaun Watson, let me talk about all the things around Deshaun Watson before I center in on Deshaun Watson. Yes, his offensive line has been terrible. The Cleveland Brown offensive line has been a bottom 5 offensive line in the league so far this year. They have been absolutely horrible, and I believe that Deshaun Watson is the most sacked quarterback so far this year. In fact, I think teams are averaging 5 sacks on the Cleveland Browns a game. Their offensive line has been absolutely putrid. That is a fact. The Cleveland Browns wide receivers lead the league in drops. Whether we talk about Amari Cooper, whether we talk about Jerry Jeudy, they drop the ball more than any other team, any other unit in football. This is yet another week where a wide receiver dropped a pass in a big moment. I think the score was like 20-3 or something like that. And Jerry Jeudy was in the end zone. All he had to do was catch the ball. And it was a perfectly thrown ball. And he dropped it. He let it go right through his hands. So, yes, the offensive line has been trash. The receivers dropped the ball at an alarming rate. And I also think that you have to look at the coaching staff as well. Yes, Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time Coach of the Year, rightfully so. But I think you have to start, and maybe he has, I don't know. You have to start running schemes that's not just beneficial for your quarterback, but beneficial for your team. And you can obviously tell when you come immediately after the game and say we're not benching Deshaun Watson, even though he was benched late in the game. You can tell that there are decisions that are being made above Kevin Stefanski, but I just feel like you have to get more out of your units, and you're not doing that. Especially offensively, seeing as though they are the absolute worst third down team by a long shot. But now let me focus on Deshaun Watson. Because as much as everything that I just said is true, Deshaun Watson has been the major issue, the biggest issue on this team. He has been a bottom 5 quarterback this year. I think people have thrown away the belief that he's ever going to get back to that Houston Texans Deshaun Jackson. We haven't seen that in years. Now, I think people are holding on to the hope that we are going to get a competent-looking quarterback, which we have not seen. The biggest issue with Deshaun Watson is there is nothing that anyone has done to get him to this point. We talk about the confidence of a player. The confidence of a player is such an important thing in any sport. Albeit, some people obviously not as much as the other, and some people are delusional, but there is a self-confidence that almost every single player believes that they're that guy, believes that they are the best player in the world. Every player thinks they are that dude, and rightfully so. They're in whatever respected sport they're in. The issue is, and I'm not even going to say an issue, that is, for a lot of people, that is one of their superpowers, that confidence. It allows them to play through anything. You can play through a bad game. It can fuel a good game. Confidence is just the baseline of something that you need. In Deshaun Watson, it is clear that he is playing without confidence. How can you tell? He misses wide open receivers. He overthrows receiver, and it's not just a simple overthrow. Like if I jump, I might get. He overthrows receivers by like 10 yards constantly. While yes, the offensive line is terrible, he holds the ball for way too long. While yes, the offensive line is bad, he is a main reason for a lot of those sacks because he holds the ball for so long, because he's unsure of himself. He is not confident. There's no pep talk that can help. This is all on Deshaun Watson. I am done thinking that Deshaun Watson can never get back to the Houston Texans days. That's just with a bunch of injuries, bunch of surgery. I don't see it. And I'm starting to lose faith that we are going to see Deshaun Watson get back to a competent quarterback, because he ain't even that right now. The Browns season is essentially done. And it is week after week is starting to look like the Deshaun Watson contract is not only the worst contract in sports right now. He is really pushing the boundary of being the worst contract in sports history. I was watching Nightcap. Shouts out to Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco. And Shannon Sharp said it, and he asked Chad, and I agree with what Chad said. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback have such a steep drop and such... Bruh, I didn't realize Deshaun Watson's 29. I am older than Deshaun Watson. And he doesn't even look like, Zach Wilson, Jamarcus Russell, Colt McCoy, Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, all have looked better than Deshaun Watson looks right now. Let's not forget, Deshaun Watson was a top 3 quarterback in the league just a few years ago. And now it seems like the only reason why he is on an NFL roster is because of the most guaranteed money and the steep penalties that the Cleveland Browns would face if they were to cut Deshaun Watson. But I said going into this season, this was a very important season for Deshaun Watson. And up to this point, he has proven that not only is he not the same player, but his confidence is so shot that he doesn't even resemble a competent player. And as unfortunate as it is, there have been no signs that he's going to get back to a competent quarterback. Essentially meaning if the Browns, which it doesn't sound like they will if you listen to Kevin Stefanski, if the Browns don't move on from Deshaun Watson, or at least bench Deshaun Watson for Jameis Winston, the season is essentially over now, even though there's still a glimmer of hope. That hope continues to fade with this Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback. Confidence is a crazy thing, bro, and Deshaun Watson has none of it. And it shows. Yo, think about that. And I'm gonna move on. Think about how drastically different Jayden Daniels, a rookie, looked compared to Deshaun Watson, who just 3 to 4 years ago was considered a top 3 quarterback in the league. Look how drastically different Jayden looked compared to Deshaun on Sunday. Do you think that is just a talent gap? No, it's a confidence gap. One player is playing with all the confidence in the world. One player doesn't have a shred of confidence. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.